When I pictured retirement, I imagined slow days, quiet routines, and a gentle wind down. Instead, at 65, I found myself restless, uncertain how to fill the hours that once revolved around work deadlines and family obligations. Friends warned me of boredom and purposelessness. I braced myself for a life of just getting by. What happened next surprised me. Retirement became my rebirth. Today, I want to share how I turned the blank canvas of my retirement years into a vibrant masterpiece of joy, creativity, and connection. Over the next 15 minutes, I'll walk you through the moments, micro-rituals, and mindset shifts that helped me rediscover purpose, proving that retirement is not an end, but the beginning of your most fulfilled self. If you have ever felt adrift at retirement or worried that your best days are behind you, stay with me. Because the next chapter can be the most alive and meaningful one you have ever lived. The blank slate moment. My final day at work arrived with a mix of excitement and dread. I cleared my desk, packed my photos, and said my goodbyes. Driving home, I stared at the open road and thought, now what? That evening, I sat in my favorite chair, TV off, calendar blank. The silence roared. It was the first time in decades I had no assignments, no meetings, no deliverables. The blank slate could feel terrifying or exhilarating. I chose the latter. Crafting a morning ritual, the next morning I resisted the temptation to sleep in. Instead, I rose at dawn, stepped onto the porch, and welcomed the sunrise with 3 slow breaths. I brewed a cup of coffee, stirred in cinnamon, and sipped it as sparrows flitted nearby. That simple ritual, just 15 minutes of mindful presence, set a tone of gratitude and possibility. I loved how the world looked at dawn, fresh, expectant, and mine to shape. Rediscovering old passions. I used to dabble in writing during college, but work consumed me for decades. One afternoon, I opened an old notebook filled with half-finished stories. A spark ignited. I began carving out 30 minutes each day to write, flash fiction, memoir fragments, ideas for a novel. Words flowed unevenly at first, but with practice, my writing regained voice and vigor. Completing my first 500-word piece in years felt like meeting an old friend and realizing we still click. Learning. New skills. The joy of the unknown. I enrolled in an online photography course. My phone's camera became a creative tool rather than a distraction. I spent weekends exploring local parks, framing sunlight on leaves, experimenting with shadows. My images didn't win awards, but each photo taught me to see the world anew. That willingness to learn that I thought I had left behind returned, proving that curiosity has no age limit. What hobby have you shelved that might spark fresh energy if you picked it up again? Building community with shared interests in my neighborhood. I founded a retiree book and brews club. Once a week, we gathered at a local cafe to discuss books and life experiences over herbal tea or coffee. Members ranged from 65 to 82. We laughed over plot twists, shared life lessons, and formed deep bonds. These meetings became more than book discussions. They were lifelines of camaraderie and intellectual stimulation. Volunteering. With purpose teaching had been my career, so I felt drawn to tutoring. I offered free weekly math help to middle school students at the library. Watching a child's expression light up when they finally grasped fractions reminded me of the thrill of making a difference. Volunteering gave me structure, social contact, and a renewed sense of contribution, vital ingredients for a joyful retirement. Embracing physical well-being, with less built-in activity from work, I noticed stiffness settling in. I joined a beginner's yoga class designed for older adults. The instructor's gentle guidance helped me bend and stretch in ways I hadn't in years. Each breath-centered movement released tension, both physical and mental. I learned that staying active need not mean high impact. Mindful movement fosters strength, balance, and peace. Cultivating mind-body nourishment nutrition took on new meaning. I started a colorful plate challenge, aiming to include at least 3 different colored vegetables in every meal. Roasted beets, sautéed kale, orange bell pepper slices. Not only did my meals brighten, but I felt more energetic and vibrant. I also experimented with simple smoothie recipes, spinach, banana, yogurt, and a hint of ginger, to start my days with a nutrient-packed boost. Establishing a daily reflection practice. Each evening, I set aside 5 minutes to journal. One thing I learned, one moment I enjoyed, and one goal for tomorrow. Writing these reflections on my phone's notes app or a small notebook helped me track growth, celebrate wins, and stay focused. Over weeks, I saw patterns, areas ripe for exploration and joy-filled activities I wanted to expand. Sharing the Yasiya journey, blogging and mentoring, recognizing the power of community, I launched a simple blog, Retired but Reborn, where I share stories, tips, and encouragement. The feedback warmed my heart. Messages from former colleagues, neighbors, and strangers thanking me for inspiration. I also began mentoring younger retirees, guiding them through their own identity shifts. Teaching and sharing became a two-way street, filling my days with purpose and making me feel deeply connected. Video, recap, morning gratitude ritual. Rediscovered writing, passion. Learned photography, built book and brews community, tutored local students, practiced gentle yoga, a colorful diet, reflected, daily blogged and mentored. Which of these steps could you begin tomorrow? Let me know in the comments. Retirement was not an ending for me. It was a rebirth. By creating routines that nurtured my mind, body, and spirit, by reconnecting with passions, and by building community, I found a wellspring of joy that continues to surprise me. Now I ask, what small ritual could herald your own rebirth? Which passion will you rediscover this week? How can you share your gifts with others? Share your plans below. Your courage may light the way for another retiree seeking purpose. If this video inspired you, please like it, share it with someone embarking on retirement, and subscribe for more stories of renewal and joy. And remember, retirement is not the sunset of life. It is the dawn of a new adventure. Thank you for watching. May your golden years truly shine.